Some of you brand custodians believe that getting a popular influencer to create content for you or for your brand and post on their platforms is a cheat code to get hugely successful content for your brand. Come, let me flog you again. I'll start this video by talking about the key things to watch out for when trying to get an influencer to partner with or collaborate with or even commission for your brand. The first is what kind of genre this influencer is already creating. Mind you, you need to work with influencers that's already creating content. Don't work with influencers that don't have an already established track record in terms of content they created. In terms of genres, I'll talk through a few examples of genres that you can consider. The first is comedy and fiction, aka skits. This is a hugely popular genre in terms of influencers and the content they create. We have many people that have created a lot of skits and they become hugely popular because of that. However, I also note that it's not just about comedy. There are other kinds of content in the fiction category that people have become successful or are known for. There are influencers that are known for horror content. There are influencers that are known for drama. For instance, Darman is a popular YouTube creator who today has built a huge studio in Hollywood, LA. So it's not just about skits. The next is lifestyle, and this is another popular genre in terms of content that influencers create. There are different kinds of lifestyle content. It could be people that talk about the daily lives, people that talk about products that they use. What's that very popular phrase? Get ready with me, or GRWM. The people that do that kind of content. That is all lifestyle content. A few examples will be people like Diary of a Kitchen Lover, who talks about her journey in terms of creating food or making food. She also talks about nutrition tips and tricks. Another example is a popular YouTuber called Yemi, who not only talks about recipes that she makes for her family, she also takes her viewers or subscribers on a journey in terms of motherhood. She created some viral content in terms of how she was able to give birth to her child, the entire pregnancy journey. I think she even put some clips out there of her in labor. So those are two examples of people that do lifestyle content. So if your brand is the kind of brand that you can collaborate with these people, why not? The next genre we're going to talk about is the podcast category. And this in recent times has become very popular. A good example is the Honest Bunch podcast that features Nedu, Wazobia, and husband material. They tackle or they discuss different sorts of topics by inviting guests, and their content has become hugely popular. So if your brand can benefit from topics that this kind of podcast discuss, why not collaborate with this kind of creators? The next will be the vlog category, and essentially what is a vlog? Is a video log of your life or of your day. It's not very popular in Nigeria, but there are a lot of creators out there that have become hugely successful by creating vlog content. A good example is a guy called Casey Neistat, who has become some sort of millionaire in dollars by creating outstanding vlog material. Yes, I know the vlog category is not as popular in Nigeria, but there are few that are even trying to do something and set themselves apart. A good example is Tayo Aina, who is a YouTuber, is a content creator that documents his travel experiences, and he does it in an amazingly professional way. I mean, he's got drone footage of where he goes to, his experiences. He uses professional cameras to film his experiences. However, recently I understand that he's relocated out of Nigeria. I think he went to Portugal or so. Another example is Stephen Nduku, who creates a lot of real estate material. They kind of fall into the vlog category. However, he gives it a documentary approach. So he's creating some interesting content out there. So you might want to look him up. The next genre is one that is both popular and very easy to implement branded content. It's the reviews category. So whether it's tech reviews, product reviews, beauty product reviews, gadget reviews, this is a very popular genre in terms of content that influencers already create. So a good example is the likes of Fisayo Fosudo, who creates gadget reviews, who reviews gadgets on a regular basis. So he's got a lot of brands that are already collaborating with him. Another example is Yemi, who I believe had like a collaboration with Scanfrost, which makes kitchen appliances. So I think they even fitted out her home or something like that. and she uses their products to create her food or to cook her food. I think that was a very interesting collaboration. The next category I want to talk about is the tutorials and how-to videos. Essentially, this is where the influencers or the creators teach their audience how to do certain stuff, whether it's to cook a meal, whether it's software tutorials. For instance, there's a lot of creators out there that teach people how to edit or how to shoot or film. So easy collaborations would be manufacturers of the software or manufacturers of the computers that they use to edit, or cameras or manufacturers of cameras. So that's also a very easy brand integration. These are a few genres that I can identify in terms of the kind of content that influencers are creating already. If you have other suggestions or other categories that you want to share, leave a comment in the comment section below. Another thing to watch out for when trying to choose an influencer to work with your brand is whether they have a team or they're a one-man band. This is very important, especially if you are a brand custodian that is used to certain processes. Because a one-man band is not just going to understand this process, it's not going to understand how feedback loops work, how brand guidelines work, things like that. So if you have such a brand or you represent such a brand, you're better off working with an influencer that has some sort of team or a structure in place of people that understand marketing and understand branding. However, if your brand doesn't have a lot of these intricacies with regard how to create content, why not? You can work with one-man band influencers. The next thing you really want to consider is whether or not this influencer or their team is used to working with brands. This is important because, like I mentioned earlier, as a brand custodian, there are certain processes that your brand is used to, and whichever vendor your brand works with needs to be aware of. So for instance, there are certain brand guidelines. If you're working with a brand that is averse to putting certain products in the same space as the brand or the product or their own products, you need to be able to communicate this with the influencer that you want to work with. So one advice I usually want to give brand custodians is to always ensure that there's some sort of representative in the situation where this influencer is trying to create content for your brand. It doesn't necessarily have to be someone high up there. It doesn't have to be a marketing director or someone high up. You could get an agency producer if you're working with an agency, or you could get a brand executive to just be there and be the eye of the brand and ensure that certain mistakes are not made. Because sometimes this content will get really expensive and getting people back on set to recreate the content is almost impossible. Speaking about the influencer's experience in working with brands, an important part of the process is whether they understand the feedback loop. Because sometimes influencers can get really touchy when it comes to brand giving feedback or corrections in terms of content that they've created. So this could be a very touchy or sensitive subject. Finally, the thing that you really need to watch out for is how personable the individual is. And trust me, there are a lot of badly behaved and popular influencers out there. I'll share a story with you. There's a popular beverage drink, multinational, which is very active in the music space. They signed up about 3 or 4 very popular music talents, and they plan to do a campaign where they did like a fantastic elaborate set. They wanted to film this TVC that featured all these people, all these artists that they signed. They were all communicated the call times, the date of shoot, all of that, and every other person arrived on set in due time. They filmed their part. But this particular guy is very popular today, very popular music artist. This particular guy just failed to turn up for the shoot. He was in the country, he just failed to turn up. So it cost the production company an extra day. They tried to book an extra day in the studio to try to plead with this artist to make himself available on another day. He still didn't come. Eventually, the production company had to dismantle the set, take the set to this music artist's house and set it up there for them to be able to film his own beats. I find this totally ridiculous, and I think we've gotten to this point today where the brand custodians are actually the cause of all of this nonsense. Because you should be able to put such artists in their place, because your brand is bigger than whichever artist. Your brand is the one paying them. Your brand is bigger than them. Your brand has existed long before they became popular. So you need to be able to let them understand that this is business and they need to respect your brand. So when you give them call times, you want to create content, they should be able to respect all of these things. And if they don't, you have an interesting lawsuit on your hands. I've talked about what you should watch out for in trying to get an influencer. The next step will be, yes, you've identified the influencer. How do you engage? I would say be very professional about it. Have a very, very clear brief as to what you expect the influencer to create, who is posting what, how they post it, the timeline. Everything needs to be documented. And if you encounter an influencer, whether it's a one-man band or a team that is averse to all of this properly laid down procedures, you clearly don't want to work with such people because it's just going to mess up your brand and mess up your campaign. So when briefing this influencer, you need to let them know the kind of content that they're creating, the format of the content, the duration, every detail is important. Another thing is the distribution of this content. Who is posting it? What time or what day are they posting it? How are they going to post it? What platforms are posting it? I've encountered a particular celebrity who was supposed to work on a reality show, a popular reality show that we produced. And, the general agreement was that, as a celebrity, you're going to post about this particular project. And his team came back and said, no, the only thing that he owes any brand is a number of story posts, Instagram story posts, meaning he's not going to post on his feed. And I found that very interesting. It was the first time, I would encounter someone stating those terms, because I just assumed that, influencers or celebrities will also be as excited as the brand, in working with the brand. You understand? If you're working with a brand, you should be excited about the project. You should be able to talk about it to all your followers. That's essentially why the brands are talking to you in the first place, because of your followership, your network, your reach. So I don't know why you should be averse to posting about projects that you're paid for. But anyway, that's my thoughts. I don't know what you think. You can share your comments in the comment section below. When you've gotten around to who is posting what and how, then you need to talk about measurement. You need to be able to measure the performance of whatever content that the influencer creates for you. How you measure it is left to your digital marketing team, whether it's an automated way or you have to manually check how it's doing. But I'll leave that to your digital marketing team to figure that out. But you need to always measure how your content is doing. And it's not just about the views, it's about the engagement. The engagement is more important. If it's actually a digital campaign that you are doing with this content, where there's some sort of call to action, you need to be able to measure the click-through rates and other metrics. These will help you know how well this campaign is doing. Speaking about engagement, because a popular celebrity posts or creates content for your brand doesn't mean it's automatically going to work or be successful. One of the things in choosing an influencer to work with for your brand is how engaging their content is. So beyond the millions of followers they have, beyond the number of views or millions of views their content gets, you need to be able to measure how people engage with their content. Are people liking their posts? Are people commenting on their posts? And apart from people commenting, are they even engaging their fans? That is very important, because the fans have a certain feeling when their favorite celebrities respond to their comments or their feedback. So these are the things your marketing team or you need to check before you even settle for an influencer to work with. The key to successful influencer integration with brands is subtlety. If you create content with an influencer and it is perceived in any way as a hard sell, your brand has lost. Finally, please share a few influencer and brand collaborations that you've noticed and you think have done really well, or share the ones that have not done really well. Put all your comments and suggestions in the comment section below. And if you have any questions with regards how you want to work with influencers for your brand, feel free to reach out to me at Soji Oguns on all social media platforms. I'll be waiting to hear from you.